Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Dave's Faves. And today we're going to be talking about Korngold's Symphony in F sharp minor, F sharp major, F sharp minor. It's an F sharp. It's sort of major minor. It does a little bit of both. I remember vividly, very vividly, when I first discovered that Korngold had even written a symphony. Of course, it was the Kemper recording, which is slightly cut, but that's okay. That's not a big deal. And it was really like it came as a revelation. And I thought, oh my, we're going to hear movie music, lots of movie music, sort of arranged for orchestra. And in some bits we do a little bit, but it's actually a very serious symphonic composition. The opening theme is intensely chromatic, and what fascinated me so much about the piece, and it says a lot about Korngold as a composer, is that the orchestration is extremely lean. Korngold had the gift of creating a sound of tremendous sensuality and lushness through very, very simple means. And the main theme of this symphony, which you hear a lot, is just sort of bits of marimba, marimba chords with this dissonant horn theme or clarinet or whatever has it, da 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 da. I mean, it's a very sort of dissonant, almost atonal, God forbid, atonal tune. And of course, it relaxes into something much more lyrical and beautiful. But the thing about Korngold, if you look at his orchestration, and particularly the scherzo, because I have the score, you can look at it, you see, he does things by what I call desynchronizing the orchestra. In other words, instead of doubling all the instruments and having everything, play a tune or devising these very, very rich accompaniments, you'll be playing along with something, and then all of a sudden in an odd place, off the beat, somewhere you won't expect it, there'll be like a celesta passage or a harp glissando. And it immediately gives the music that lushness and glamour, that sheen that his orchestration has. But it's only because of these simple gestures in odd spots. I mean, if you listen to the scherzo, the wonderful trio for the horns, ba da 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 dum ba dum, bum ba ba da 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 da, and it's just going along, and it's very beautiful, and it's a terrific tune, it's a noble tune, and then the violins come in, and you hear da 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 da, whap, the horn, the harp goes up like that with a glissando, and you just go ah. It's like, wow, ooh, that sounds really cool. It sounds like it's a really big orchestra. Well, it's not. It's really very, very, very almost austere, this symphony. Korngold had a sense of what being symphonic meant in the German or Viennese school, and he was out to do that in his own way. So it's really a fascinating work. I really think so, and I think that it deserves far more respect than it normally gets. People have treated it rather contemptuously until recently. Now, however, there are recordings of it just about everywhere. I mean, they've been coming out fast and furious. And, it used to be there was Kemper, and then, there was the one on CPO with Albrecht, and then, a couple, one or two others trickled out. But then, oh goodness, all kinds of things happened. Previn did one, Welser Most did a fabulous one in Philadelphia. There was a whole bunch of them. And then Chandos had two of them. It's kind of amazing, how frequently now the work's been recorded. Given the fact that, in my opinion, it's not actually all that easy a piece. It's a serious symphony that takes quite a bit of listening. It rewards the listening, of course, but it's not, it's not a gimme, as we call it in the biz. So I do have a favorite performance, and I'm going to share it with you. It's right here. It's on PentaTone. It's Marc Albrecht, as opposed to Werner Andreas Albrecht, or whatever his name was. They're both sort of echt, in one way or another. But this one, This one is with the Strasbourg Philharmonic on PentaTone, and it comes with the Much Ado About Nothing Incidental Music Suite, which is delightful. Absolutely delicious. I love this performance. The reason I love this performance, first of all, is that it's extremely well recorded, number one. Number two, Albrecht is a really, really good conductor. He's a great chord guy. He gets the meaning and necessity to bring out all of the little details of color in the score without meandering, without stopping the music dead in its tracks and slobbering all over it and drooling and dripping. And it's not like, a Komodo dragon with saliva dripping out of it. So no, nothing like that. But nothing passes unobserved. So all the kaleidoscopic color of the piece is readily audible without ever compromising the actual symphonic bona fides of the work. And that's what as a result of that, the piece tends to go, it cheats the clock. It's a very exciting performance to listen to, but it has time for you to take in all of its manifold beauties and colors along the way. It's just a great symphony. It really is, and one that really deserves a little bit more respect than it usually has gotten. You got to really wonder who could have written a better one. When was this? It was 1940s, I guess, or 50, around 1950 when Korngold wrote it. And, he was just sort of making his comeback. He was quite young when he died. He was 50, right? Or 60? Exactly 60. Yeah. He was exactly 60 when he died. Not old at all. And the war had ended, and he was done writing film music. And he wrote the Symphonic Serenade for the Vienna Philharmonic. He wrote the Violin Concerto for Heifetz. He was starting to get his normal composer juices flowing, and sadly he died. On the plus side, he was at the absolute top of his form. He was at peak of his creative powers when he wrote these pieces. And so I think this is one of the great 20th century symphonies, and this pentatone performance with the Strasbourg Philharmonic with Marc Albrecht is my favorite version of it. So keep on listening, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.